Hey there everyone, we're done with the Claudia and Nemesis review for 2.5, so it's now time to do one for Frigg. I'm using my Frost account for this and I don't have any altered characters in this one, so in this video we will be showcasing 3 different Mono Frost lineups, along with the rotations for each team and also a little bit of kit explanations. Since I bought her matrices, let's go ahead and try that as well. First off, let's talk about key advancements. Back when she first released A1 was already good enough to deal decent damage, but now that we already have her on standard, that won't cut it anymore. At minimum you're gonna need at least A3, and as usual A5 and A6 are going to be a noticeable damage boost. The first lineup that we'll be trying out is Frigg, Saki, and Tsubasa. The recommended minimum advancements for the other two is A1 Saki for the skill reset and A6 Tsubasa for the attack buff. Next, we'll do the rotation breakdown. First do a dash attack with Tsubasa before using the skill, then switch to a Frigg skill. After that do multiple dash attacks until you get about 3/4 charge. Once you do, swap into Saki to use her skill, then we discharge with Tsubasa. Use 2 dash attacks before using the skill and do 1 more before going back to Frigg. From here, we do Frigg dash attacks until the cooldown of our skill is below 10 seconds. Usually it's around 8, and here we go for another Tsubasa discharge. Do some dash attack and skill combos before swapping into a Frigg discharge. And then we repeat the cycle. A 2-minute pause with this team resulted in around 55 million damage, which I know is pretty low considering my base attack of 26,000, so how well do you think will this team do on real combat? First run on OOW took me about 4 minutes with an accumulated damage of approximately 104 million. We can see that the earlier pause on Cactus more or less checks out. Furthermore, in a FCH run where I'm the top damager, I was able to dish out 127 million damage, but the battle took around 6 minutes. The next lineup that we'll be covering is Frigg, Saki, and Icarus. The minimum requirement for the advancement stays the same for Frigg and Saki at A3 and A1. Icarus on the other hand is good enough at A0 since his kit's already complete from there. The rotation for this one is very similar to the Frost meta comp where you can spam unlimited skills. We start with a Frigg skill, followed by multiple dash attacks until we get 3/4 of charge. Then swap to a Saki skill before using an Icarus discharge. Cancel it by jumping, or it's up to you if you want to wait for the animation. After that we cast all of Icarus skills before changing back into a Frigg skill, Saki skill, and ultimately end up with the same rotation over and over again. A 2-minute Cactus pause with this team resulted in around 66 million damage. Also, if you're wondering how a rotation without the animation cancelling would fare, then you shouldn't. It basically gave the same results. Now, let's take a look how this comp does on real combat. Here are the results of the test runs on OOW Floor 1. The pause on Cactus wasn't accurate this time around since on average, I managed to deal 103 million damage within 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Last on the list is Frigg, Saki, and Alyss, which is the lineup that I had most fun trying to come up with a rotation. It ended up being a little tricky, but once you get it going, it's pretty fun to play with. Let us now proceed to the rotation breakdown. First off, go in as a butterfly for style points, then cast skill, swap into a Frigg skill and do dash attacks until you get 3/4 charge, before switching to a Saki skill. Use Alyss discharge, do a hold dash attack, then proceed to do dash attacks with Frigg until your skill cooldown hits 8 seconds. Once it does, back to Alyss with a discharge. Use her skill and charge up with either hold dashes or hold attacks, then switch into a Frigg discharge plus skill. Skills will then reset, so swap into an Alyss skill, charge up a bit, use Saki skill and go back to Alyss for discharge. From here we do Frigg dash attacks until the frost domain disappears. When it's gone, recast it at once, swap into an Alyss discharge plus her skill, then use Saki discharge. Use skill, swap into an Alyss skill, Frigg skill, then back to Saki for discharge. Cast Saki skill once again, and from here you should have 3 stacks for the skill reset, because this is where the rotation will finally reset. With this lineup, a 2-minute cactus pause resulted in about 68.6 million damage. Also, just a side note that 2-piece Samir and Humor matrices on mid advancements resulted in almost the same numbers, so they're bound to be better on max advancements. Now, let's take a look on how well this team does on actual combat. Here are the results for the tests with this lineup. Yet another case where the cactus pause doesn't seem to be that credible. Also, I'll include the results doing the same tests with my Meta Frost comp. The results for this one seems to be in line with the cactus pause. What do you guys think of Frigg? Is she still good? Share your thoughts down on comments.